Hi everyone, today it's dash cam fitting day. So I'm going to have a look to see how I'm going to put this Viofo A139 into my Model 3. Straight from the off, I'm going to be upfront as I always am. Viofo have sent me this free of charge. They're not paying me to do a couple of videos on this dash camera. I'm just choosing to. I've been using a Viofo, the A129 Pro camera in my BMW for a couple of years now, and honestly I've had a couple of problems with it, but there's no footage that's better on the market in my opinion. But the A139, it's a 3-channel dash cam, and that's going to give me an interior view all the time, which is going to be helpful when I'm explaining things and doing things. There's another option as well. I just want to show you if you can find it. You'll have to excuse me because I've got bits everywhere as well, because I've already started this process I'm going to talk you through a little moment. But there's also another reason why I went for the A139, because it's got a microphone input. So I can have some decent audio in my dash camera all the time. The footage isn't 4K. It runs at its highest rate at 1440 at 60 FPS. So is there going to be a little bit of a downgrade with that? Maybe, but it might actually give me a little bit more low light performance. So it's also something that was thought about, but I actually contacted Viofo and asked them about this camera, and they were more than happy to send it. So here we are. I'm going to talk you through the steps I've already taken. It is quite difficult to wire dash cams into Teslas. We've got no normal fuse box, and normally I would wire and hardwire a dash cam into a fuse box, but the Tesla's got no normal fuse box, so it was quite awkward, and still has been quite awkward, to work out the best option on what to do and how to wire it. I can wire it straight from the cigarette lighter, which is in this little cubby hole, and at the moment that's probably the route that I'm going to take. Now what I mean by that is, probably in the back here we've got a couple of USB docking stations, and I've bought a little charging hub which has a USB-A output. And what's actually gone on with this, I'm going to try and show you this now, is we've got USB-A to USB-C. When I plug this in, it doesn't, or it didn't, charge up the camera or start the camera consistently, and this is the whole unit. I'm going to go through the reason why I've got everything connected shortly, but when I plug this in, and we can go into this here, it wasn't starting the camera up. Let's have a little look. We get a red charging light, and then it goes off again. So it's as if there's not enough power. Again, it's doing the same thing. It's as if there's not enough power, or a difference in power coming from this station. So it's not any good to me that it doesn't actually power up the camera. And that was going to be, let's just shut this off a second, that was going to be my original thought, because I could have ran this lead down the side of my seat underneath my dash and eventually powered the dash cam that I'm going to stick up on the window. So that's not an option. So it looks as though for now I'm actually going to go with the cigarette lighter. It might mean that it's going to come down the side, but I can still run it in the same way. And what I've actually done with this, I've tested it, because it is an important part as well, to make certain that these cigarette lighters are not permanent, because even though this is an electric car and a Tesla, there's no in the world that you would want any drain. And I have heard a few stories that if you do have a permanent dash cam feed coming off,
3 channels started.
There we go. So as you can see, it's powered up. So I have heard a few stories that if you do have a constant drain on a Tesla, you can get some error messages, and I don't want to go there. So I wanted to make sure it's all okay. Now I have also checked, and it's quite important as well, like I said, that it's not a constant power, and it's not. I plugged it in actually yesterday and locked the car, walked away, and I came back after about 10 minutes and the dash cam had shut down. So it's going to give me a little bit of time. If I just go to a shop, for example, all the dash cam is still going to be recording, but I'm not going to be able to use parking mode at night. Does that matter in a Tesla? Well, not really, because we've got Sentry Cam. We've got the cameras, one on each side, one at the front and one at the back. So it's not a big deal for me. It actually suits me fine, because when I'm in this car, it's just going to be me recording. So that's how I've decided to wire it up. It all seems okay. So now I've worked out how I'm going to wire it, I just want to quickly just go through the camera, to be honest.
Video protected.
Let's just, oops, I've recorded something. Let's just go through the camera. The camera itself, it's got no screen on it. Now that for me was a little bit of a positive, because screens actually, even on the Tesla here, screens produce heat, and I had a problem with my A129 Pro shutting down, especially in hot weather, and the 2 summers I've had it in the car, I've had particular problems with it. So that was one thing on my mind. But the other thing was obviously the 3 cameras. I'm going to talk about what we've got here. I'm going to have to find places for these in a minute, and that's my next job. We've got a rear camera, we've obviously got the main unit, and we've also got an interior camera. Now again, I'm going to try and find little places for these to go. But the actual wires, I'm just going to take one out now. Let's get the main power lead off. The wires themselves actually are really thin and narrow, so it's going to make it easier when I'm feeding them through all these little areas and making sure I'm not going to get in the way of any airbags or anything like that, but it's going to make it easier to feed through. That one's the front camera. It's got some infrared lights on it as well, which is probably going to help with the nighttime viewing, but I've not actually had a look at the footage of this, so I'm going to install it in my car on the hope that the footage is good enough. I wonder whether I've done the right thing. So let's find out where I'm going to put it. It's obviously going to be in this area. Just want to make sure I've got all of the little marks off this. The area, you should use probably a little bit of alcohol wipes with that, but I'm okay with that just for now. I will give this a decent clean before I actually before I put it on properly. Now I do need some power to this. Just let me get the power cable. I might have to use this extension, I might not. I'm just going to see for now. But what I'm going to do, I'll actually switch the camera on, and I've got the only way of actually seeing what the picture's going to be like is actually looking at an app on my phone.
One channel started.
So I'm going to do this now. Let's make sure I have it connected. Ooh, Wi-Fi needs to be turned on. Press and hold.
Wi-Fi enabled.
And now I should be able to connect. There we go. So once you've paired it once, it just instantly connects. And then let's have a look to see how quickly it works. There you go, picture of my groin, brilliant. Let's get rid of that quickly. Now what I'm going to do is, you should be doing this, I'm just going to leave my phone down there just so I can see what's what. You've got to make sure you position it correctly so it's not going to be in the way. And what we've got with this A139 is a rotatable camera. That looks pretty good. Excellent, it's not in the way of anything. I've got enough room for this cable to go up here. Would it be better in that sort of position? No, because it's affecting my view. I think about there would be ideal, to be honest. Would it affect the sun visor? No. And that looks pretty good. So we've got an idea of where that one's going to go, and I'm just going to take a visual eye line that the bottom of the camera is about at the bottom of this little part here, so I've got an idea of where it's going to go, so that one's alright. What about now the front camera, or the interior facing camera? We're just on the front camera actually. What about the interior facing one? I am just going to stick this in and see whether, I don't know whether I should turn this off or not, but anyway, let's go, let's have a look. Does it just come up with the interior facing one?
Recording. 2 channels started.
Yep, so we've got that. Doesn't matter whether it's upside down as well, whether you can see that on the app, maybe not. But it doesn't matter whether it's on the whether it's upside down, because on the app you can actually you can change the view one way or the other, so it doesn't really matter where I put this. That might be something that you think about if you're mounting your own dash cam, and you should go through this process of planning where the cameras are going to go before you then get to the wiring. So where should I put this one? What I'm going to do first is just undo it again. I'm just going to take these little wires off so I can stretch.
1 channel started.
That's going to do me head in, to be fair, the voice stuff. But anyway, I suppose it's only at the start. Right, let's take the little wires off. Right, there's that there. I need to undo this. I want to see where I can get this. I've only got a limited amount of wire with this one, although with the A139 you can get longer wires, so that could be an option. But if it's there, is this going to be an issue at any particular place? Again, I've got to think about this. Right, so just for now I've got enough wire.
Recording. 2 channels started.
Thank you. I've got enough wire to go there. Would that give me a good enough view? Let's have a look. It's not in the way. Maybe this way a little, so it sees me, the driver. And you know what? That's going to be pretty good. Would it help if I turned it round? Because that is an option, don't forget. It might be a help with wiring. Let's have a look. What's that going to be like? Cuts off a little bit of my head, so I suppose I could move it a little touch further over. And it's not interfering with any view. It's a higher level than this mirror here, so I think that's probably going to be the place where I'm going to put it, and I can run this wire alongside this up into the head lining and then come back out into the camera, so that looks a pretty good spot. Okay, now for the back one I'm going to do exactly the same. I need to turn the camera on, so let's get this wide in. And then I need to put this camera plugged in, rear, and then I'm going to do exactly the same.
1 channel started.
I'm going to do exactly the same, turn my Wi-Fi on and then connect to the app, and then I'm going to be able to see where this camera goes.
Recording. 2 channels started.
And yeah, we've got a different camera. Again, it's all connected and all okay. Let's see where it is going to be best. Now this is again just trial and error. I don't want to put it in the middle of the screen because it's going to affect my view, so I am going to try and put it quite low down. Let's just twist this round and see where it's going to end up. No, maybe not. Not even going to take the protective covers off yet. Where would that be? As you can see, looks pretty good. Of our garland, it's not going to be affecting loads of view, although the view out of the back of the Model 3 isn't the best, so I think somewhere low down, quite near to the to the back of the actual parcel shelf is going to be the best option. I'm sure you don't want to sit through me putting the dash camera into the car. I've done a video before with Lewis at AutoCare when he installed it on the Mercedes A-Class, the front and rear system, and he talks about how you go behind all these trims and do things properly and carefully to make sure all the wires are hidden. So I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to get on with the install. What I am going to do, I'm going to fit these the transparent films and covers, not covers, transparent film if you like, that you peel off, you stick to your window, and then the dash camera can stick to that, and it just makes removal a little bit easier. So I would advise using them. That's it. Hopefully it's going to go well. I'll see you shortly. All done, all sorted. It's taken me about an hour to get all the cables in as neat as I possibly can. I think I've done a pretty good job. The actual trim is pretty pliable on this Tesla. It's not the tightest I've ever seen. I think that's been well documented by other people, but honestly it's gone in quite well. I'm really pleased. I've actually changed my mind on where to stick the interior camera. Now I've stuck it up here, up at the top. I was going to stick it down in this area originally, but I've gone for a higher placement. I just thought that it was a little neater there. The main view is still of me, that's all okay, it's not interrupted by anything, and even when I put the sun visor down it doesn't affect it massively. So I've decided on that position and I think it works really well. The one at the back is pretty good as well. We've got it tucked down there on the left hand side, and all the cables run down this side of the car, so not a big deal. Had to take a couple of trims off just on the side of the dashboard, but they were quite easy and they've gone back in also nicely. I've been using the audio from the action cam all day, but the important thing, and one of the reasons why I wanted the Viofo A139, was the importance of the external mic. Now, this is the audio from the action cam, which on this Sony action cam is really good. I haven't been mic'd up today, but let's have a little listen to see what the audio is like on the dash cam. And that's it now, because quite often on videos, you may have seen a difference in some of the videos that I just do on the lessons when it's just the dash cam audio. They're not as good. So audio for me is key, and that's one of the big selling points for me with this Viofo A139. And just on Viofo, I'd like to again say a massive thanks to them for sending me this dash cam out, and it was free of charge. So really, this is a sponsored video, so many thanks for them. I'm going to do another video on the footage and a couple of other things about its features shortly, but for now, if you're interested in one, please check it out in the description, because the affiliate links are going to be there. So massive help if you could. Keep safe everyone. I hope that was good, hope that was useful. See you soon.